Hi, thank you for tuning into my channel. In this playlist, I will be sharing podcasts on a regular basis that will let you experience the Feldenkrais Method via awareness through movement lessons. In the lessons, I will talk you through all the steps. You listen and do at the same time. The lessons are designed to improve ability and reduce effort in movement. The speed of an exercise should always be adjusted to your breathing rhythm. For the lesson, find a place where you can lie down comfortably and wear clothing that doesn't interfere with your movements and breathing. Also, take a rest whenever you want to. There will be plenty of rests in the lesson, but if you need more, please do. The lessons have been recorded live while teaching a class. This lesson is called Spiraling Up and Down. And could you please stand in front of your chair and just sit down and stand up again? And do it a few times. And notice how it feels. And now do it a few times so it looks good. How would you stand up so it looks good? And now go from standing to sitting a few times and do it in a way that it feels good. And is it different? Going from standing to sitting in a way that feels good compared to looking good? And it's just for you to know. Leave it. And now stand in front of your chair, but face the chair. And now put your left hand on the seat of the chair and slowly explore the chair with your flat of your hand. And notice what part of your hand do you use. And now keep exploring, but without changing anything. Is anything happening in the rest of you? What's happening with the rest of you? And stand for a moment. And now slowly put your right hand on the seat of the chair and do the same thing. And notice if it's different with this hand or similar. And do you use a different part of your hand or not? And do it slow and see if that changes anything. If you do it really slow. And pause in sitting. And now come back to standing, facing the chair. And put your left hand onto the seat of the chair again. And slowly bring your hand over to the right side of the seat. And then to the outside of the right front leg a little bit. And then back again. And little bit by bit, you go a little bit further down the right front leg of the chair. And then you come back again. And do it slow and in an exploratory way. So you don't have to go all the way down, but it's really that you feel what's happening in the rest of you as you're doing this. So see what happens your legs, and your back, and where do you bend, and when do you bend? And can you feel a shift of weight? And how is your hand on the leg of the chair? And rest in sitting again. And come back to standing, facing the chair. Put your right hand on the seat of the chair this time. And slowly go across to the left side of the seat, and then a little bit down the right outside front leg. And back again. So your right hand, then you go to the left and go down a little onto the left outside of the leg, of the front leg of the chair, sorry, and then come back. And you don't have to go all the way down, but do it little by little. So first you slide across the seat from right to left, and then you go a little bit down the leg, just around the corner, and then you come back, and then you go a little bit further down and slow down. Go very, very slow because it's the whole process. You have to notice it's what's happening in the rest of you. So when do you bend? When do you turn? Where do you look? When does the weight shift? You go as slow so you can feel yourself as you do it. And pause in standing. Now come back with the right hand on the seat of the chair. And again, slowly start to slide it to the left side of the seat and then a little bit down to the left of the left foot of the chair and then come back. And now next time you do it, can you turn your pelvis a little bit more? So the right side of the pelvis comes a little closer to the chair. So you pivot or twist more. And is that different from what you were doing before? So as you go with your right hand to the left side of the seat of the chair and then onto the left front leg of the chair, you really start to turn your pelvis a little more. So the right side comes closer to the chair. And now switch over your hands. So slide your left hand over to the right side of the chair. And think that your pelvis is moving the hand. So you start with the left hand and then you start to pivot or twist the pelvis and therefore the hand moves. And notice if this is very different from what you were doing before. And what's happening with the rest of you next to your pelvis? And calm to sit on your chair again. Come to stand, facing the chair. Put your left hand on the seat of the chair. slide over to the right of the seat of the chair and then on to the right front leg again. And then back again. And again. Do it from the pelvis now and see if that changes. So instead of moving the hand first, start to move the pelvis so the hand moves. And then maybe can you look over your right shoulder a little bit? And can you feel that this is connected to your pelvis? So the head turns as far as you can notice the connection with the pelvis. And change your hands. And again, use your pelvis to reach down to the left side of the front leg of the chair. And look over your shoulder, over your left shoulder this time. And only do it when you feel the connection. So you start from the pelvis and then the head turns as far as you can feel the connection from the pelvis to the head. And leave it and come to lie on your mat, on your back. And now come to sit cross-legged with the legs crossed in front of you. And lean on your hands or your fists. Like I always lean on my fists behind me because my hands, I don't know, it just feels uncomfortable. So hands or fists, both fine. And now go ahead and lift one knee with the legs crossed and bring it back again. And notice which one did you lift, the front knee or the back knee. So like with the leg that crosses in the front or the leg that crossed in the back. Just notice. And now lift the other knee a few times and notice if it's different. Pause and stay in sitting. And now lift one side of your pelvis and bring it back to the floor again. And notice, as you lift your pelvis, are you also lifting that knee? And now lift the other knee. And lift the pelvis, the other pelvis. And notice which side is easier. And now lift your pelvis on one side and your knee. And notice which hand could you lift off the floor. So if you lift one side of your pelvis and then also the knee a little bit, which hand could you lift off the floor? And now do it. So as you lift your pelvis and the knee from on one side, lift the hand that you think is the easiest to lift. And now a few times, lift the hand on the side that you're also lifting the pelvis and the knee, if you're not already doing that. And see if that's easier. And now switch your other leg in front. And again, lift one knee into the air a little bit more, bring it down, and feel what is it like to do it with the legs crossed like this. And do you lift the same knee or the other one? And is it the knee in the from the front leg, or is it the knee from the leg that's crossed behind? Just notice it. And now lift one side of the pelvis. And also that knee will lift a little bit. And again, notice which side do you lift first. And now try lifting the other side of the pelvis and the other knee. And notice, can the pelvis lift the knee? And which hand can you free off the floor if you are lifting one side of the pelvis? Is one hand easier? Pause and just rest in sitting. Now come to cross-legged position again with your hands behind you or leaning on your hands or fists. And now cross the legs over the other way. And how do you do this? Do you move both legs at the same time? Or do you move one leg and then the other one? Just notice, what do you do? And now can you change the way you cross your legs? So if you do both legs at the same time, could you do one leg and then the other leg? And if you do one leg and then the other leg, could you do both at the same time? And end up with your left leg in front. And now put both your hands on the floor to the right of you. Yeah, kind of come in a comfortable way, not too like that you can still sit. And now slide your left hand further to the right and behind you. And the hand stays on the floor and come back again. So I say it again. Both hands are on the floor to the right of you. You slide your left hand further to the right and behind you, and the hand stays on the floor, and then you come back. And what could you do to make it easier? For example, what could happen if the left knee lifts? And maybe then the left hand can reach further behind. Or maybe you can even go as far so the left foot stands on the floor. And then you come back again. And then can you look over your right shoulder? So as you bring your left hand more to the right and behind you, let the left knee come up as you're turning, and then go even further and let the left foot stand on the floor so you can turn even further behind you. And then finish it off, you look over your right shoulder. And come back to the middle. Change over your legs. And now put both hands on the floor to the left of you. And again, start to slide your right hand to the left more and behind you. And the right hand is going around the left hand, so not under it. So it goes around it. And notice what happens if you let your right knee come up more. And maybe go as far as that the whole right foot stands on the floor. As you reach with your left hand, your right hand to the left and behind you. And look over your left shoulder as you're doing it. And notice how your weight is shifting. Come back to the middle and rest in sitting. Cross your legs again, however you like. And now change over the crossing, but your feet have to stay pretty much where they are as you do it. So the feet don't lift off the floor. How could you change over the crossing of the legs without lifting the feet off the floor? And actually the feet are not moving so much at all. And how can you use your hands to make this happen, maybe? Or lift your pelvis. So you're not sliding your legs across the floor so your feet stay on the floor. No, your feet are somehow glued on the spot, let's say. How could you, with the help of your hands and your pelvis, change the crossing? We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Some of you are actually already pretty far on the way, to be honest. And lie on your back and rest. But everybody's going to get it. Everybody's going to get it. Don't worry. So come to standing. And place both hands on the floor in front of you. Now bring your left knee to the floor in between the right hand and the right foot and come back. So the left knee comes toward the floor as you're leaning on your hands, in between the right hand and the right foot, and then come back again. So you place your hands on the floor. And you can, of course, also bend the other knee, otherwise it's not going to happen, sorry. But you focus on the left knee going in between the right hand and the right foot. And now bring your, come back with leaning on your hands. And now bring your right knee in between the left hand and the left foot on the floor and come back. So we do the other side. So the right knee in between the left hand and the left foot on the floor. And now repeat it a few times from side to side. So once you go to with the left knee on the floor in between the right hand and the right foot, and then with the right knee in between the left hand and the left foot on the floor. Yes. And next time you go to one side, could you lower your pelvis all the way to the floor? When your knee is also on the floor, and come to a sitting position somehow, and then come back again. And repeat this a few times. So you lean on your hands, you bring your knee in between the foot and the knee on the other side. You let your pelvis turn further and then let it just come to the floor. And then you go back the same way, but then reversed. So leave your hands on the floor if you can. And try again. Keep trying. And then a few times go to the other side. And now stay low and do it faster. So you don't come all the way up, but you somehow staying low. And then one time you kind of bring your knee, your right knee in between your left foot and your left hand, and you bring your pelvis to the floor. And then you come up to your kind of frog position, and then you bring the knee in between the other. Yay! And leave it, lie on your back and rest. Now come back to standing again. And lean with your right hand on the floor only. So only have your right hand on the floor. Turn yourself 180 degrees to the left until you end up sitting on your side and then come up again. So you, in standing, you lean on your right hand, turn yourself 180 degrees to the left and end up sitting and then come up again. Yes. And now put your left hand on the floor. And again, but now you turn yourself 80 degrees to the right and come to sit like this. So to the other side. So with the left hand on the floor, turn 180 degrees to the right, come to sit, and then back up again. And let go of this movement. And now one last time, come to stand to face your chair. Put your right hand on the seat of the chair. And just bring your pelvis to the right until you sit. And then you come up again. So your right hand is on the seat of the chair. And now you bring your pelvis to the right until you sit. And then you come up again. Yeah. And now switch hands and go the other way. And repeat this a few times. So what makes it easy? So if the right hand goes from right to left, you turn your pelvis to the right and you sit. And then you come back up again. And when you put your left hand on the chair, you go from left to right your pelvis turns to the left and you sit. And then you come back up again. So it's like a spiral. And next time when you spiraled onto your chair, just sit on your chair. And now notice, is sitting more easy, more comfortable, different? And now a few times go from sitting to standing and then from standing to sitting. And notice if this changed. And next time you're standing, just go for a walk and notice how it feels. And now in your walk, could you place one hand on the floor, come to sit on the floor, and then come back to stand again, and walk a bit more, and then do it with the other hand? Because you never know, it might come in handy, right? All of a sudden, you're walking and then you need to sit really quick. So once you do it with the right, and then once with the left. This is the end of the lesson. Thank you for joining this lesson.